Hi everyone, it is the first week of March and I'm gearing up to start some of my seeds indoors. Some of them within the next couple of weeks, I'll actually be able to start outdoors. I wanted to walk through all of the seeds that I ordered for this year and all of the new things that I plan to plant in my garden. I want to give you a rundown of everything that'll be going in. I'll also list how much I spent on all of this because this is honestly a lot of seeds, but I don't feel like I spent a ridiculous amount on all of these seeds. And starting seeds indoors and sowing directly is one of the best ways that you can save money in your garden. So without further ado, I'm gonna start with my Solanaceae family, going through my tomatoes and peppers. I love peppers, so I do grow a good variety of peppers. Starting with the first one is a Brandywine red and yellow blend. I typically will grow a slicing tomato of some sort to have on sandwiches, with breakfast, chopping up, to toss into things. Just really rich and juicy and flavorful, and a great summer flavor to have all summer long. Also, this is the first year that I ordered from Botanical Interests and also Urban Farmer. Historically, I've ordered from Johnny's Select Seeds and always had great success with it. I will also be seeding anything. My Johnny's seeds are a little bit old, so those might be less likely to germinate just because of the age and time of them. So those I'll probably just plant as like chaos gardening and see what comes up. But I wanted to get all new seeds and prioritize organic this year to move towards a regenerative, organic, as much as I can. I don't think it's something that needs to happen overnight. I think that as you get better at gardening, as you become more interested in gardening, making that switch becomes more of a priority, at least for me. Going back, starting with this one, my Brandywine red and yellow tomato blend. I think these will be really good. I think this is also an heirloom variety and these ones are organic as well. Next, I am doing a indeterminate cherry tomato. These ones are called Sweetie. I do and don't like growing indeterminate tomatoes. What's really great about indeterminate tomatoes is that they will grow on and on and on, especially as you prune them and help guide them or trellis them to help support them and get them to continue to grow and continue to fruit. It is more work to be attaching them, to be pruning more regularly. But you do get a longer season of growing versus a determinate variety that's going to be more like a bush, more compact, and not keep growing vines on and on and on. My cherry tomatoes I did get as indeterminate because I wanted those to be something that will continue to produce for me all summer long and even into the fall. And then onto my Roma tomatoes. These, I got just an Italian Roma tomato. These ones I got as determinate so that I could plant more dispersed in between because those are more for processing and more for turning into pastes or sauces, less of my everyday tomato, and something that I'm totally fine with having several plants dispersed throughout the garden, having those all come at once where I'm doing one major haul or a couple of major hauls pretty close together at harvest season. All right, moving on to peppers. I ordered this year a Megatron pepper, jalapeno pepper, a Megatron jalapeno pepper. So these should be a little bit bigger than the jalapenos that I'm used to growing, which will be nice if I want to do jalapeno peppers. And just wanted to try something new. So I'm excited to see how these do. Okay, cayenne peppers. So typically I just do red cayenne peppers. This year I opted for a cayenne blend. This should have red and yellow cayenne peppers. And I'm gonna do a couple of these plants because one of the main things that I use cayenne peppers for is making chili powder flakes. These I will, at the end of the season, dry out and I will blend them up into a semi-fine powder, coarse powder, to use as flakes on pizza and pasta and all kinds of dishes just to add spice. These I'm really excited about because it'll be more vibrant colors in the garden. So I think that'll be really cool. Sticking with spicy, habanero peppers. This just says habanero. It is an heirloom variety. It says that will be nice. I've grown habaneros in the past. Habaneros are absolutely my favorite pepper. I love the citrusy notes that they have. They are an extremely spicy pepper, but they are fabulous for making hot pepper jelly, making pepper spreads, and even like salsa, like a mango habanero or a peach habanero. This is one of my favorites. And then more practical, I have a sweet sweet banana pepper. So this I will be doing for pizzas and pickling and just adding to flavor to dishes and things like that. I have not grown banana peppers in the past, so this is a new addition for me. I'm excited to have this in my garden this year. And then last but not least, sweet bell peppers. This is a must in a garden. I will be honest, I have not had wild success with bell peppers in the past. I'm always fighting deer. This year I'm going to be better protected. I love bell peppers. I love roasted red peppers. So I am really hoping that this is my year that I get a nice yield of sweet peppers that are good for salads, for cooking, omelets, for all kinds of things. So I'm really hoping I'm going to plant more plants than I ever have before. I think the most I've planted in the past is 3 plants. I think I'm going for, I'll have to look. I need to have probably like 6 or 7 plants. I'm excited for these. Fingers crossed. All right, now moving on to more vining and squashy type plants. Starting off, cucumbers. This is a must in a garden. Great for making pickles. Also for salads, I love fresh cucumber salads. This variety is called the Marketmore. I think it's supposed to be a really high yielding cucumber, but good for pickling and also for fresh eating. I'm really excited about this. This is a different variety than I've made in the past, so that will be awesome. Next up, Black Beauty zucchini squash. I have grown this variety from other seed companies. Zucchini, tends to grow really easily. I have had a lot of success with zucchini in the past. But one thing I have done is I've always waited until the zucchini are like the size of a baseball bat. But what I've learned is that they're better to be picked when they don't have seeds, when they're a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna try to be more on top of my harvesting more regularly and harvesting them when they're a little bit smaller to hope to have a little bit sweeter of a flavor. Not that zucchinis aren't sweeter, the zucchinis I've had aren't sweet, but they're really seed heavy. So I'm gonna try and just be more on top of harvesting so that I get more fruit and less work. And also summer squash, a nice yellow squash. This one is also an heirloom variety. Oh, so were those Black Beauties. This one is called the Early Prolific Straight Neck. And because I live in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, I do try to get either high yielding or really prolific varieties as best that I can, because that just helps with me being able to get as much as I can in a growing season. This next one is butternut squash. I have tried my whole gardening career to grow butternut squash, and I have never been successful. This, I am hoping, will also be my year for this plant, and hoping to really get, I would call it a win if I get 1 butternut squash. I love the flavor of butternut squash. I love it roasted. It's a beautiful fall flavor. Really hoping that I do get some squash. Yeah. Next, I've got some Kentucky Wonder pole beans. Just like indeterminate tomatoes, these things are gonna grow and grow. This is not a bush bean, this is a pole bean. It will vine. Last year I tried to do pole beans and I wasn't able to get to them because they were out of sight. I want something that's gonna be more vertical, that's easier for me to harvest and not so close to the ground. I love green beans. It's such a staple in the kitchen for cooking easy dinners. I wanna be able to just go out and grab a couple of green beans, roast them up with whatever else I am cooking. Excited for those. Broccoli, I did buy transplants at the end of last year. I was trying to get a fall harvest and they were kind of stunted, and then we had a really deep freeze, sub-zero temperatures, and my broccoli has died. These I hope will come through. I'm gonna do these for a spring planting. These have a short maturity window, says 48 days to maturity. I am hoping, and frost tolerant, and an heirloom variety. Right there, look at that. Okay, if you've ever had broccoli from the farmer's market, it is unlike the broccoli that you get at the grocery store. It is way more packed with nutrients and flavor. It's just, it does not compare. So I'm really hoping to get some broccoli this year. That would be the coolest. Also, something that I absolutely love to cook with is Brussels sprouts. So these ones are from Urban Farmer. I got a couple of things from Urban Farmer. Majority of the seeds that I ordered this year were from Botanical Interest. The cost of them is so reasonable and fair, especially for the organic and heirloom varieties, and beautiful packaging too. But I did also get some from Urban Farmer, primarily because I wanted to get, where are they? Some beets. Oh, they're gonna be in this pile. I wanted to get some sugar beets, so I'll get to that in a second. But Brussels sprouts, I'm gonna give this a try. I've never done this. We'll see how this goes. Also, something I've never done before is celery. So this is the Utah variety. It's an heirloom variety. Celery is something that we all probably have on our grocery lists on a regular basis, but upon further review and after seeing that celery is rarely at my farmer's market, celery is not the easiest thing to grow. It requires a really loamy, almost sandy soil, and it's got a very long growing window. So this is 100 to 120 days to maturity. These are one of the things that will be first for me to start this week to make sure that these are ready by, I think like October is when I'll be able to eat these and harvest these. Had no idea that celery took so long and is so sensitive, but hopefully we'll have some celery for some nice fall stews, chicken stocks, all made from the garden at the end of the season. So we'll see how this goes. A lot of new things for me. I have never done watermelon, but my husband loves watermelon juice. So I figured this would be a fun thing to grow, to be able to have fresh watermelon juice throughout the summer. This is also an heirloom variety. I really tried to prioritize organic and heirloom varieties for this season and really have a focus on that. This will be cool. I haven't done fruit in the past, but fruit is a big thing that I will be adding in both this season and in the coming seasons. I have lots of dreams of also adding fruit trees, berry bushes, all kinds of stuff to really have a high yielding, productive yard on our 1/4 of an acre house. Next, I want to talk about my root crops that I've got. I have some little finger carrots. These are a true mini variety. These should be really easy for having for like snap carrots, things like that, have a sweet flavor. I have not had success with carrots in the past, so really hoping that with more knowledge around the right conditions for some of these vegetables that I have a better plan, a better strategy for getting them to actually yield for me. Excited about these. Then also I got a carnival blend of carrots. These look exactly like the ones from Trader Joe's that I get all the time. So these will be something which are ones that I absolutely love roasting, easy to use with cooking, just a staple for me when cooking. Also doing some beets. So I just got a gourmet blend of some really beautiful beets. I haven't gotten big beets. I've had lots of success with radishes in the past. I will be doing radishes from whatever I have left from old seeds. I love beets. Beets are having a moment, but honestly, if you roast them with a little bit of olive oil and sea salt, they do not taste like dirt. They taste like just a really caramelized roasted vegetable, and it's fantastic. I do it with sweet potatoes and eggs or with dinners. Incredible. Rounding out for my root vegetables, I am going to be trying, and I don't know where in my garden yet, but I'm going to be trying to grow sugar beets because there are 2 crops that produce sugar. Sugar cane is what a lot of us are probably familiar with, but sugar beets are also a way that sugar production is done. So I doubt I will get much sugar. We'll see how these do. They are supposed to be, I think, larger than normal beets. So this is an experiment. I think it'll be fun. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if I can get some sugar. Now let's talk about let's jump over. Let's talk about these. I'm also trying beans this year. I've got some garbanzo beans from Urban Farmer, and I've also got some pinto beans from Urban Farmer. These are also new tests for me to try this year. I've never done beans like this kind of bean before. These will be fun to give a shot and see what we get. Like I said, starting everything from seeds can make it really affordable to do a lot of things. You probably could see on here that some of these are as little as $2.49 for a seed packet for organic and heirloom, which is basically what you're paying for conventional at your big box stores like Lowe's and Home Depot. I think that's a freaking steal. I'm so excited about all the stuff that I got. It's mind-blowing how much food just this is gonna be able to produce. This could seriously feed a family if done correctly. Now I wanna jump into my onions, not like onions, but alliums and some of my herbs. First up, I'm doing some King Richard leeks. My husband has sensitivities to true onions, but he can have scallions, he can have green onions, and he can have leeks. So leeks have become a key ingredient in cooking for aromatics, for adding flavor and deglazing pans and things like that when I'm cooking. Onions, and I think leeks have a completely different nutritional profile than onions, which is awesome just for variety. If we're eating the same foods every single day, week over week over week, our body is not getting a change of scenery, if you will, for the types of nutrients that we're getting. So even if you do grow onions, or if you just buy onions from the store or from a farmer's market, it's cool to add in other things that'll have different nutritional profiles as well. I will also be doing some white Lisbon bunching onions. These are easy. These help with also repelling pests and things like that. So this is part of integrated pest management. I'll be doing a lot of these along with chives and herbs and flowers to help repel pests. This is a key piece in having an integrated planting plan and planting strategy to help mitigate pests and really have a biodiverse, fruitful garden in a small space. These will be important for that defense line. Also chives. I have chives, they just popped up a week or two ago in my garden that I had plantings that I bought from a nursery last year. I am gonna try seeds. It's honestly better to start it from plants, seedlings that you buy from the store, but I'm just gonna give it a try. We're just gonna sprinkle them in and see how it goes. We'll give those a go. Oregano, I also have still in my garden from last year. Oregano and chives are perennials, so those will come back year over year, depending on where you live. Where I am in formerly zone 6B, now 6A, with the change of the USDA hardiness zones. Those are still alive. They're still growing in my garden, even though we had about a week of sub-zero temperatures. I'm also going to be doing some more oregano as part of integrated pest management strategy for preventing pests, keeping pests at bay, trying to repel them with the scent, and then also basil. This I grew from transplants last year, and I'm just going to start it from seeds because I've never done that before. We'll give that a go. That wraps up almost everything. Speaking of integrated pest management, I have a couple of flowers that I've ordered this year. Last year, I only did just like marigolds that my mom divvied up from her yard and planted in my garden. But this year I'm focusing solely on edible, not solely on edible, but within the food garden, putting plants that can have multi-purpose or multi-use to help with as trap plants for color, for attracting pollinators, all of that. So first off are nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are a wonderful plant to have in your garden. I have never grown them, but they are always spoken about when you are looking at permaculture and when you're talking about these types of integrated pest management strategies. They are edible. The seeds are supposed to be like a substitute for black pepper too. So if those grow and then eventually go to seed at any point in the season, I would also want to be capturing those to try as like a pepper. These are pot marigold, calendula, also always talked about in permaculture and garden strategy, integrated pest management, garden strategies, and attracting pollinators. These are also great as cut flowers. They are also edible. These are just going to be a really beautiful addition to have planted amongst all the vegetables to really attract those pollinators, really pull in the good bugs to help fight the bad bugs, and also have a double purpose of being able to throw in salads or, I don't know, I'll have to look up some fun recipes to also see what I can do with that. Also, on same topic, you're gonna hear me say this a lot, both in this video and throughout the season, planting all kinds of things that are smelly and useful. Chamomile is gonna be another one of those things. This will be great for tea and having it from like a medicinal purpose. I do also want to start building out medicinal spots in my garden and growing more plants that have those types of practical uses as well. So I think this will be a really good addition. Rounding out my flowers, borage, another edible flower. I had never heard of borage until I started looking into permaculture and this type of gardening. But then I was at the farmer's market. For those of you that don't know, I have a food business where I sell products at farmer's markets, and now I own a stand at Cleveland's Public Market. But there was a flower farm and soap maker next to me one day, and her son invited me to try a petal of borage, gave me this cute little spiel of, it tastes just like cucumber. And he handed me a petal and I ate the petal. And it does. It really does taste like cucumber. It's crazy. But this is a really pretty flower for attracting pollinators and also to be able to toss into salads for a unique flavor. So very excited about this. And last but not least, I ordered all of these seeds and I was surprised and very delighted. Botanical Interests also threw in some of their lettuce as a bonus thank you. So this is mesclun lettuce, just a greens variety, greens and reds. I do have some old lettuce seeds that I was going to be sowing, but this will be another fun one to also include. So, all right, so that is my seed haul for this year. All of the seeds that I ordered and what I plan to start planting, both indoors and outdoors over the next couple of weeks. I'm so excited. I will show on the screen how much I spent on all of this. And honestly, for the amount of food that this is capable of producing, that's kind of insane. It's about the same as what you might spend for a week's worth of groceries. And this right here is well over a year's supply of food, potentially, with all the seeds that you get within each of the packets that can fully supply you and give you all kinds of food throughout the year. So very excited. I will share more about my planting and seed starting and what I'll be doing when, indoors or outdoors. If you have any questions, drop them in comments. And if you're growing any of these, also let me know. So excited to be here. I have been gardening for the last several years and it has become such an obsession. It's just so cool once you start to reconnect with where your food comes from and understand the plants and when they grow. It totally shifts your perspective of what you see at the grocery stores and what it actually takes to make those vegetables. So I have loved this being a part of my food journey. And then also getting to have the most nutrient-rich, fresh produce that I know exactly what went into making it, whether it is making sure that it's not sprayed with anything that I don't want to put in my body, and also just the appreciation of taking something from seed, adding water, adding sunlight, adding soil, and having it turn into something that you eat off of your plate. All right, with that, thank you so much for joining me and listening to my spiel, and I'll see you soon.